Good morning, everyone, and good night for our guest tonight, for Ricky Thaper. It's an honor to have Ricky today with us. Ricky has been in the industry, in the Indian industry, for more than 30 years, 35 years, and right now he's the treasurer of the Poultry Federation of India. Good night, Ricky. How are you? Thank you for being here.
Good morning to you, and thank you very much. It's an honor and a pleasure to have a podcast with you today.
Yeah, it's we are very honored, Ricky, and it's a pleasure to have you with us. In poultry school, our main goal is to share knowledge, but also not just technical knowledge, but being connected. And we know in this specific case, and that's why we're very excited of having you here, is that globally India is a major player right now in the poultry industry. India has been known by a lot of IT, a lot of development in technical subjects. But the thing is that with a big population resource, but a lot of challenge that you're going to explain to us. I think that everybody in the world, in some point, think about India as a big player. So we would like to start a little bit, Ricky, that you can explain us because we think and we see because of the data and the numbers that India has growing numbers very impressive in the last decade has been a big, let's say, incremental in poultry and egg production. So maybe you will we would like to start from that. Why do you think this change has happened? All the growth that we have seen in the last years.
You see, the Indian poultry sector has played a crucial role in meeting protein and nutrition needs of a vast section of population. While the production of agriculture crop has been rising at the rate of around 2% per annum, that of eggs and broiler has been rising at a rate of 7 to 9% per annum. Over the past few decades, it has evolved into a mega industry, positioning India as a major global producer of eggs and broiler meat. In just about 4 decades, India has transformed their poultry farming industry through major investments in breeding, hatching, rearing, and processing of chicken. Today, India is the second largest producer of eggs, say 138.30 billion as per 22-23, and fifth largest producer of poultry meat, 4.47 million metric tons globally. Egg production in the country is growing at the compound annual growth rate of 7.35% over the past 9 years. India's total meat production has increased from 6.6 million tons in 2014-15 to 9.77 million metric ton
Wow.
in 22-23. This I am talking about total meat production, which includes other meat products also.
Okay.
Uh, yeah. According to FAO stat, the USA has 17% share in global meat production, followed by China 12%, Brazil 11.7%, Russia 3.8%, and India 3.5%. The annual meat poultry production is estimated at around 5 million ton, and it is witnessing an annual growth of 6 to 7% as per trade estimates. The increase in the average income and the urban population has led to a tremendous increase in poultry demand and a steady increase in consumption over the years. Thank you.
Ricky, and what do you think has been the major factor? Just if you want to name one factor of this major growth, if you can name something that is top of your mind,
Say again.
what do you think is the major factor or one factor that you can point of this growth? Is technologically, is access to feed, management?
You see, all factors are involved. Automatic feeding system, temperature control system, and data-driven management tool optimizes resource utilization and reduce production cost of the poultry industry. The
Okay, okay.
efficiency helps producers maintaining competitive pricing and a steady supply in the country. Improved in the feed formulation, automated system for feeding and temperature control, and state-of-art disease management practices revolutionize poultry farming. These innovations enhance poultry efficiency, leading to increased output.
Wow, that's very important, Ricky. And we know that a challenge for India is the water, is the resource of the water. So can you explain about the water factor in the ability and the quality of the water? How the industry is managed the water resource?
See, the poultry sector is a water intensive sector as from production to selling of meat, water is used for rearing birds and for cleaning of meat. Water plays an important role in regulating body temperature, metabolism, digesting food, and eliminating body waste. At normal temperature, poultry consume at least twice as much as water as feed. Nipple drinking system is helping improve water efficiency in the poultry farms. Water is an essential nutrient for poultry and therefore supply of quality water is fundamental for good flock performance. The farmer can prevent many diseases in flocks by controlling the quality of water, which would lead to decrease of cost of management poultry farm. Water is required for reducing air temperature in poultry houses, including evaporative cooling pad as in environmentally controlled sheds and for fogging system, and also to facilitate sanitation. Thus, water remains a critical component of poultry industry, and the farms have been working towards ensuring that quality water is available to birds. Besides ensuring water saving techniques such as rainwater harvesting as well as recycling of used water.
Well, that's very unique, Ricky. Another thing that we think about how to sustain a steady growth and the growth of an industry is the supply chain. How the Indian industry is handling the supply chain. India is prepared, and you have all what you need to assure that growth in the industry.
You see, poultry producer and processors are streamlining supply chain operations to minimize waste and ensure timely distribution. Advanced logistics and transportation management system facilitates the efficient movement of poultry products from farm to consumers. The transportation of bird has to improve for reducing mortality. For the processing industry, refrigerated vans as well as availability of cold storage facilities at the retail would improve the quality of poultry products in the country.
And Ricky, we think and we believe that one thing is the production, but another thing is what the customer is asking. How's the culture of eating bears, meat, poultry meat, and eggs? What do you think is the consumer really asking in India? What's the demand of the consumers?
Yeah, this is a very good question. You see, chicken meat and eggs are perceived as healthier alternatives to red meat, driving up the demand. Poultry products are often more affordable than other protein sources, making them accessible to a broader segment of the population. In the post COVID 19 pandemic phase, the also because of demand for the protein rich like poultry meat and eggs have increased sharply. The growing awareness regarding health and wellness is further driving the demand of a protein rich diet. The shift in demand for live bird to fresh chilled and frozen poultry market has been slow. Limited presence of poultry processing in India has resulted less availability of frozen chicken and other processed forms of poultry products. Currently, around 8% of poultry meat produced in the country is processed, which is likely to increase up to 20% in next few years. Opportunity for expanding processing facilities for poultry meat would see a huge growth with consumer demanding ready to eat products delivered at home.
Ricky, I don't know if you have the number. How much is still the chicken goes to the wet market, to the street? Because you're saying here, you should mention that
Yeah, only 8%
8%.
is a processed market. Say around 82% is still a wet market as of now.
Wow, but and I think that is a big challenge, and at the
Yes.
other hand, a big opportunity to
Yeah.
increase. I don't know if you have this on the top of your mind. I may understand that mostly of the production of egg and poultry meat goes internally in India. You don't export anything, or you're
Ex-
exporting
export of eggs is there.
to which country? Do you know which country are you exporting?
Yeah, to Singapore, to Oman, to Malaysia, neighboring countries. Export of egg is there.
Okay. Another key element, Ricky, that we notice in this development, and I still thinking that India is a country that we need to look at, is the role in between the government and the producers. How this relationship is going on, and how you guys handle this, how much the government influence and participate with the production sector.
Yeah, the government of India has been supporting the growth of poultry sector through several initiatives like dedicated funds for setting up units, disease surveillance, and providing support for ensuring supply of animal feed for the sector. The World Organization for Animal Health has approved India's self-declaration of freedom from highly pathogenic avian influenza in specific poultry compartments. Compartmentalization is a crucial tool that enhances animal health, reduces the risk of disease outbreak within and outside the compartment, and facilitates the trade of poultry and poultry related products. The Department of Animal Husbandry and Dairying, Government of India has submitted a self-declaration of freedom from high pathogenic avian influenza in 26 poultry compartments in Maharashtra, Tamil Nadu, Uttar Pradesh, and Chhattisgarh to the WOAH. To support the livestock sector, the government has initiated several measures. The Animal Husbandry Development Fund is being implemented. The key objective of the scheme are to fulfill the object of protein and rich quality food requirements of the growing population of the country and prevent malnutrition. The support is also provided for meat processing and value addition infrastructure and establishment of animal feed plant including poultry feed. The National Livestock Mission has been revised and is also for next 5 years. The mission aims at development of entrepreneurs in rural poultry. So overall, if we see, the Indian government is very supportive, and because they know we are a protein deficient country, and today eggs and chicken are the main source of protein and cheaper source of protein. So government is encouraging the agriculture farmers to have poultry, dairy, piggery, aquaculture alongside of their agriculture. Like the Prime Minister of India says, we want to double farmers' income. So farmer, like I said, the poultry is growing at the pace of 7 to 8%, but agriculture is only 2 to 4%. So the government of India is encouraging the agriculture farmers to start poultry, dairy, and aquaculture along with their agriculture in their agriculture farms.
Wow, that's very interesting, and I think is my belief, Ricky, is that the Poultry of Federation of India has a lot or influence in this connection in between the government and the producer. Can you explain a little bit the function and the role of the Poultry Federation of India in the sector?
The
Just on the
Poultry
top of your
Federation,
mind. Mhm.
yeah, the Poultry Federation of India is an association which was started in 1988. The members,
88, okay.
yes, the members includes poultry farmers, feed millers, breeders, processors, equipment manufacturers, all those who are directly or indirectly related to poultry. So the Poultry Federation of India keep meeting with the government of India for the welfare of farmer and the welfare of poultry. Recently, like now in as I said, poultry is growing 7 to 8%, but in agriculture growth is less. So the corn price has sharply increased in last few months. There has been almost 20% increase in corn price, because beside poultry, now the corn is being used by starch industry and also by ethanol production. So recently, the Poultry Federation of India delegation met Government of India that they should allow import of GM corn, because 65% of the cost of production of poultry is a feed cost, and we our feed
Yeah.
cost has been increased because of the increase in corn price. Two
Where?
years back, 2 years
Mhm.
back, when the soybean meal prices jumped almost double, then the government of India had allowed to import genetically modified soybean meal from USA and Argentina in 2021, and had helped a lot to save the poultry industry. So similarly, this time also we are making representation to allow GM corn also.
Well, that's very interesting, Ricky. So, what do you think is needed to India to be at the forefront of the global poultry production? What elements do you think the India production industry needs to do, or actions to be on the top of the production countries?
The increase in production of poultry meat is likely to be achieved by expanding the coverage of poultry farms, modernizing existing facilities, and adoption of efficient production practices. The growth of the sector will depend on factors such as change in demand pattern, technology adoption, favorable government policies, feed availability, among others. Application of artificial intelligence can help the poultry industry address environmental impact, animal welfare, and production efficiency, and also automate animal identification and weighting, improving accuracy and efficiency. AI can optimize breeding process by automating tasks like egg grading, identifying live embryos, and controlling incubation.
What do you think, Ricky, talking about if you personally have any thought about artificial intelligence? India is leading, like I say before, is leading in so many industries this field. And what do you think personally is the future of the industry with artificial intelligence? Do you think that is a
As
trend? Mhm.
As I mentioned earlier, application of artificial intelligence can help the poultry industry address environmental impact, animal welfare, and production efficiency, and also automate animal identification, weighting, improving accuracy and efficiency. AI can optimize breeding process by automizing tasks like egg grading, identifying live embryos, and controlling incubation.
Yeah, perfect. So we also have seen we follow social media, and we are very active in looking for information, and we see that you guys recently, the Poultry Federation of India, you did some collaboration with the USA Poultry and Egg Export Council. So that's very interesting. Can you explain a little bit about this partnership?
Yes, please. The Poultry Federation of India and USA Poultry and Egg Export Council recently had signed an MOU to jointly address protein deficiency and promote consumption of eggs and chicken in India. Mr. Greg Tyler, President and CEO of USA Poultry and Egg Export Council and Poultry Federation of India team signed the agreement in presence of Mr. Hamilton, Agriculture Minister, Counselor, Embassy of United States of America, and delegates from India and USA. Several US soybean and corn grower farmers also witnessed this MOU signing ceremony, excuse me, which will be a milestone in promotion of consumption of eggs and chicken in India.
And do you have any specific actions, Ricky, that this partnership is gonna be doing, like promotion, the consumption, or what type of specific actions are you looking with this agreement?
We are working on that.
Okay. So talking about the Poultry Federation of India, can you share with the with our audience what's the next 3 4 projects in the next year? What you guys are working on? What's the major goals of your association for the next year?
We are helping the poultry people to set up poultry processing plants. Like now, more and more KFC, McDonald's, Subway, these companies are expanding their chains in India. Excuse me. So they require processed chicken. And for that, we are encouraging more poultry people to set up the processing plants in India. So in next few years, we are hoping that processing will further increase in India because of demand, ready demand from Kentucky Fried Chicken, from McDonald's, and from other fast food chains.
Well, that's a good thing because, well, and very interesting comment. And already comment, or we did some explanation about what the market wants, what the people is willing to have. And I think that, like for example, I can tell you China, Japan, they have been changing from their culture, let's say, eating habits to more like this chain, like McDonald's, like
Right.
Pizza Hut, or another brands that they are the new generations are moving forward to that cultural habits. And we know that India, they have a very rich cuisine. Your food is very typical and very specific. So hearing from you that the market is changing, also that push to the production industry to do these changes. How about bank loans? The banks are putting money in the industry, or is a
Yes, please.
challenge there?
Yes, please. The banks are very supportive. And like I said, the government of India has created Livestock Animal Husbandry Infrastructure Development Fund. So government of India is also very supportive, and the banks are also very supportive for these. They have got a special agriculture loans, so they are very supportive and they are extending loans to the farmers.
That's good. Another question is the Poultry Federation of India. Do you do seminars, shows? Are you involved in the education of the sector? How
Yes,
how how do you support education events?
you see, we do technical seminars to promote. Even we sometimes organize press conference also, where the electronic media and the press is invited, and we tell them about the goodness of chicken and eggs. Similarly, sometime our association does seminars with the doctors also, medical doctors, so that they know what are the good points of eating chicken and eggs. And we keep doing at the same time for poultry farmers, with the help of pharmaceutical companies, we do jointly seminars to update the farmer with the latest technology and disease surveillance.
So I know that you have a major show, right? It's a major poultry show in India. That's in November, right?
That's right.
Do you guys how do you collaborate with that show? Do you
uh,
place that show together, or you have another association working with you guys?
no, we like several poultry associations support that show. So Poultry Federation is of India is one of the sporting associations.
That's good. That's great, Ricky. So in my notes here, I see that you have been 35 years involved in the poultry, right?
Yes, please.
And
Yes, please.
and from where this passion came? Can you share a little bit how
Yeah,
did you get involved in the poultry industry?
yeah. That's interesting. My father, he's a veterinarian.
Okay.
So yeah, so I was very keen from the very beginning. and I did a poultry course from Texas A&M University, USA. At the same
Okay.
time, that was under Cochrane Fellowship Program, supported by US Department of Agriculture. At the same time,
Okay.
I did another poultry course from University of Illinois Champaign-Urbana, USA. So my involvement was because of my father being a veterinarian, and then I liked this industry. And now I have been serving this industry for almost 35 years.
And personally, Ricky, what do you think for your career? Because you have been a lot of year in this industry. What's the most, let's say, challenging moment that you have been facing, and how do you think did you approach it? Something in the federation, some negotiation, something that you think was very challenging, and then how you approach any situation.
You see, right now the most challenging job is to convince the government of India to allow genetically modified soybean meal and corn to import of that, because in India GM is not allowed as of now.
Yeah, I know that.
So that's the most challenging, which we have all our association, including Poultry Federation of India and other association also jointly are following up with Government of India to allow GM, because if a poultry is growing at 7 to 8% per annum, and the growth in agriculture is only say 2 to 3%, so in next few years we won't be able to match the demand and supply. Like I said, corn is now, beside poultry, is going to ethanol industry and starch industry. So
Yeah.
if the rates keep on increasing, farmer margin will be very much reduced. So in the next few years, Government of India, we are very hopeful, will allow to save the poultry industry from crisis. They will allow to import of GM soybean meal and corn. So that's the
Well,
most
that
challenging job in front of all associations.
yeah, that's a big a challenge, Ricky. How about what you thought about new generations, new people in the industry?
Yeah.
I have been seeing, for example, the new generation with the telephone, so many distractions, maybe another mentality, uh, how to engage and capture the attention of the younger generations to go into the industry and provide that value into the industry. Do you talk
You see,
about into the industry? What your personal thoughts about that? How to attract new generations into the poultry sector?
You see, earlier, after doing their veterinary degree, like DVM in USA, you call, the people used to go for a pet practice or for large animal practice. Now the
Mhm.
veterinarians are coming into poultry. The poultry is a very interesting subject. Even other educated people, they are entering into poultry venture, because now it's all automation. It's not poultry which used to be 20, 30 years back. Now they have got all environmental control sheds and proper hygiene conditions, good disease surveillance, and the profit of margin is also there. So now more educated and people, and even now second generation, third generation, like their father, grandfather started poultry,
Yeah.
and now the young generation is expanding that business. So more educated people are now entering into poultry business.
Wow, that's very unique, Ricky. In the Poultry Federation of India, do you have in target, or do you have another partnerships that you are willing to do globally, like you did with the USA Poultry and Egg Export Council? Are you working in another international partnerships?
Yeah, there is a US Soybean Export Council. So
Hmm.
we have been also working with them, and there is another US Grain Council. So we also work with them for working, doing technical seminars so around the India, and we are
Okay,
open to other
that's
associations also.
okay. I Another thing, Ricky, you share with me that you are exporting eggs, and the egg industry is very important in India. do you see the trend of cage free is coming to India, or
Mm,
is gonna be later? The cage free concept you talk about McDonald's, KFC in the US, for example, is a big trend about animal welfare. Can you explain that trend? If
no,
the growth of the India market in egg production is going to include cage free.
no, I don't think so in the next 10 to 20 years, because that will
Really?
increase, yeah, that will increase the cost of production. And the Indian
Yeah.
consumer right now is not capable of paying a very high price. So
Mhm.
in the near future, we don't think so. This cage-free eggs will be possible in India.
So, well, the
You
thing
see,
is that
these
mhm,
cage-free eggs or countryside chicken, these are delicacies in Europe and USA, which are developed country. India is still at
mhm.
the stage of developing country, so we can't have that luxury.
Do you have any pressure of animal welfare in the Poultry Federation of India, or in the production? Can you explain a little bit about that?
Yeah, sometimes we do get from some of the NGOs, but then we
Mhm.
represent the government and we put our side. And as of now, it's not any big issue as of now.
Eh, okay. Another thing is when I was doing in my international, let's say, roles, we find out that sometimes Indian companies they were doing investment in Africa. Big companies they were doing putting their capital and their resource in Africa. That's still happening, or
No, only like,
and why they were doing that instead of staying in India?
see, only two, three companies from India, they have put up their farms over there. And I think they are the right person to comment on that.
Hmm. And in that time that they are putting investment outside of India, do you think is not going to happen, or is going to be a trend in the future?
It can be, depends upon the company to company policy. So it can be in the future also. It should
Okay.
not be any big issue.
Okay. How about import? India is getting meat and eggs from another countries.
Yeah, Turkey is coming from USA.
So Turkey is doing some import, but I think that is not very significant. That the most
Yes.
of the
The
consumption
the vol yeah,
is
volume
locally.
is less. Volume is less.
Okay. So going back, we already discussed about water, because we know that water is a challenge even for humans in India. In the Poultry Federation, is a specific subject the water. Do you have a specific attention of on the water, or is something that is same as any other subject?
It's same as any other subject. We focus more on disease surveillance. We want the farmer management should be good. If the management is good, then all his problems will be minimized. So when we do
And
seminar, our focus is on biosecurity.
perfect. So, as a country, India, what's the health status? India is a very healthy country, or do you have a lot of challenge in the healthy subject?
It's both. It's both ways. Like depend if the farmer is not keeping biosecurity, his management is not good, then disease challenges are there. So it depends upon farm management.
Okay, perfect. So, Ricky, we almost cover the subject. We already almost we're gonna cover 40 minutes of our conversation. That was our a target. Anything else that you want to share that you would like to share to our audience about what is going on in India? what's the project of the federation or a personal subject that you would like to share in this space?
We see a very bright future of poultry industry because of a large population in India. Even if the per capita of eggs increases by 2 egg per person, you can imagine how many percentage of
That's an
there will be.
opportunity. Come on,
Yeah,
that's a great for anyone. Uh-huh. Go ahead.
yeah. So we are very hopeful that poultry is a very shining industry and it will keep expanding at the rate of 7 to 9% per annum for the next 1 or 2 decades.
Wow, just imagine that. How many population is in India right now? 1.4 billion.
Yeah, it's 140 crore plus.
So imagine if you can increase one egg
So,
uh, per capita. That's a huge amount, and I think that
and
that will
and
capture the
similarly in
attention.
broilers, if we increase only 100 grams broiler per person, you know how much broilers we require for that. So our population is our asset also.
Another question, Ricky, just for a few minutes. Infrastructure, for example, sometimes travel into India is a challenge, right? The roads, the transportation. Do you think that's something to look at? That you already talk about GMOs, health, but also transportation internally is a key issue, right? To bring the feed to the farms and to put the food in the plates of the people.
Yeah, logistics is a big challenge, but fortunately, the government of India from last 10 years have been doing a great job on these road infrastructure. So there has been a lot of improvement in that. So we are very hopeful that these logistics issues will overcome these challenges very soon.
Talking about countries, what country do you think technologically is more closely to India? The European trends or the US trends? Right now is a lot of equipment and solution globally, but India, I may think that from Europe, you guys are getting a lot of technology, right?
Yeah, that's right. Like big feed plants, even from USA also. Like now we have got a feed plants of California pellet mill CPM from USA.
Hmm.
Yeah, and like even the breed, the cow ventures breed and the aviation, the breeds are from
Yeah, they're
USA
global.
only. Yeah, so we are getting technology from both Europe as well as from USA. Like the
Uh,
incubators, Petersheim or the others, we are getting from Europe.
mhm. So right now, do you think that India is self-sufficient for DOC, or you are importing
No, no,
DOC?
we are importing grandparent stocks. Then parent
Mhm.
stock and dual chicks, we are self-sufficient on that.
Okay, perfect. So, Ricky, I think that we cover a lot. I think that was a very interesting interview. And when we post this in our social media, we're going to put your information and where to find you. But we believe that India is a country that we need to look at globally. And like you say, it's a big opportunity. Just the numbers. If you compare population with the opportunity of meat consumption and egg consumption. And we already discussed the challenge that we have in India, but also, like I call it, opportunities. And I think that what you are doing, Ricky, in the Poultry Federation of India, getting this partnership with international association is very important. And we believe in poultry school, and we believe personally that education is a key factor, connecting people, connecting all the dots together to find solutions to keep providing quality protein. And I think you guys are doing a really nice job, and we're gonna be keep close to you, Ricky. Anything else that you would like to share?
Yeah, just I would like to add, like farmers, agriculture farmers corn growers and soybean growers from USA. They were recently in India on a study trip.
Mhm.
So they are also, they know that in future, India is going to be a big market for them.
Yeah, I agree. I agree on
Yeah.
that. And I think that these new trends, that's why we put the question on the table, what the market is willing to have, what the market is asking for. Because I think that the production needs to change according to the market necessities, right? So I think that any other way that you want to see it, India is going to be in the next year one of the most important countries to look at, and mostly induced like in this time, like we discussed about healthy issues, feed access, and water supply. So I think it's a lot of discussion, and like I say in poetry school, what we like to do is to connect people and to share knowledge. Okay.
Yeah. It was nice
Okay.
discussing with you. And thank you very much for having, and have a good day to you and all to your listeners. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Ricky.
And
Have a nice
namaskar.
day.
Namaskar from India. Thank you.
Bye bye. Ciao.